Hello, my name is Ryan Jackson. I'm an English 1301 with Dr. Richards. Today I'm just going to be talking about the downside of social media profiles and the risks that users have when going online. So it is normal that social media platforms of all types require too much personal information on who a person is. And with people's accounts publicly displaying their lives, over time, anyone can access more and more data on who people are. So with that being said, I believe that social media should restrict the intake of confidential information. And most importantly, users should be more aware of the issue because the availability of personal information can lead to identity theft and human trafficking. So as social media becomes more and more popular, users are becoming more relaxed in their awareness when being active on various platforms. And so to combat the demand for personal information, all types of social media, they have privacy settings, and these privacy settings let users choose whether to have a private or public account. They can create settings on who can view, like, comment, repost all of their content. And so the Poneman Institute is an organization with a mission rooted in privacy management, and they released a study on the behavior of users, and they say that around 65% of users don't set high privacy or security settings in their accounts. Yes, the requirement of people to include personal information like birthday, home address, where you work, your school, social security number even, it plays a large role in this issue, but majority of users don't take necessary steps to protect themselves online. So they add to the present risks that are already there, and just leave themselves susceptible to any kind of illegal activity, and they endanger themselves. So as much as that's an issue, people also make their own bed, and it's important of the saying, if you make your own bed, you have to sleep in it. So along with that, and along with an unawareness, around 44% of individuals said that if they discovered a social media provider didn't protect their privacy or security, they would still continue to use the site. So because not only users failed to protect themselves, but since they express indifference, it's pretty evident that social media sites should ban the intake of personal data, because there's a lack of desire to protect information, and to keep valuable things away from the wrong people online. And so as we look into all of the ways that people aren't protecting their information, it's really important that we point out ways that people can protect their information. That Poneman Institute study, it provides ways that people can better protect their information. They can review and customize security settings, review the privacy policy, and most importantly, pick a password that can't be cracked. And all three of these recommendations would do a lot in sealing users' personal information from hackers and predators, because reviewing the policy explains how data can be accessed and shared. And security settings can also limit access to your profile. So whenever you limit access to your profile, when people understand how their data can be seen and shared, the risks of including information or keeping openly public privacy settings, it becomes more apparent to the user's eye whenever they read that privacy policy. But according to this study, 90% of individuals don't even look at the privacy policy, which is a huge problem. Also, having a strong password, it further limits access to an account, and users are in every social media platform advised to create their own unique password that nobody knows or can figure out. But around 40% of people pick a password that is known to other individuals, not just themselves. So as much as social media companies themselves create the issue, people add on to it as well. So in recognition of this chain effect where people aren't using the necessary steps to protect themselves and social media is requiring this information, it influences identity theft everywhere. Linda Vincent, she's a distinguished expert on identity theft and fraud, and she's from the Identity Advocate. She has over 30 years of expertise on this subject, and she shares data that 54% of profiles have been targeted for identity theft, 15% have had their account accessed without their permission, and around 70% have been contacted via a DM, a direct message, to visit some kind of scam website. And these statistics prove that the issue of identity theft is just very relevant in social media. People and profiles, they get targeted frequently. And this is because their information is just out there and they're not protecting it, or it's just easily accessible. So Jennifer Lohr, she's general manager of protectmyid.com. She states just a simple fact that if people aren't careful, identity thieves can quickly gather all the information they need to commit fraud. And users must be aware when they're posting online. Along with all the other information listed on people's accounts that thieves can access, users' posts, their stories, and their friends all contain valuable information that can help a thief commit fraud or steal someone's identity. Posts can share locations, they can share stories. It all can share information about where a user lives, works, or spends lots of their time, which can help thieves in the long run. And accepting friend requests from random people or allowing anyone to follow you or view your account, it also adds to that risk. So social media theft can definitely be done in many different ways, which we can see here. People can pose as another person online, creating a mock account, or they can financially attack a person. So this can be done primarily through the stealing of just financial information. But it's important to know that that starts with the theft of basic information that is on social media accounts everywhere. They take legal names, birthdays, places of employment, schools, and even social security numbers to completely act as the victim in whatever scenario they choose. So just all this information, it reiterates the importance of unrealistically banning the intake of personal information, because that can be unrealistic. But realistically, it's saying that users need to protect themselves online. Lastly, human trafficking is another huge issue going on with social media, personal information. Human sex trafficking, most of y'all know it. It's just a typical relationship between an older and a younger person, where the younger is illegally groomed for sexual intentions. And social media provides predators with many opportunities to prey on people, primarily younger teens, because information and the ability to appear as something they are not is just so easily attainable. Vanessa McRae, she's a teacher in Toledo, Ohio, and she has firsthand experiences with her students. She byline states in a paper that many victims are trafficked online, groomed through social media interactions, and brought into bad situations. So because parts of this grooming process happen online, and most of it does, predators can just easily trick victims into believing the person they're talking to is who they say they are, when in reality that person is actually someone completely different. Predators use fake pictures, they use fake names, fake ages, and more to persuade a victim of a false truth. And they can also base their profiles off the target's personal information. Like I said earlier, they can see through their post, stories, or information what school they attend or where they live, their age, and their common interests, and maybe if they play a sport or something like that, just to better connect with them, when really that's not what's going on at all. McRae then emphasizes again people to avoid live streaming to strangers, to shield their personal information, and to only add people you know in real life on social media. Because when doing these things, along with all the other tactics we've mentioned, the risk of being targeted by a predator drops significantly because your account is limited and there's not a lot to find out, not a lot to see. So just overall, the stoppage of including personal information in social media profiles and accounts, it would drastically improve the situations that we've talked about today around identity theft and human trafficking. But the counter argument is some may say that the ban of social media intake, it would negatively impact the ways people can connect worldwide. And I believe that that is true. Social media and just the internet has connected the world within seconds now. You can talk to anyone, anywhere. You can do anything from anywhere. So banning that, it would definitely be unrealistic because of how interconnected the world is. But identity theft and human trafficking, they're continually rising problems, and it's affecting the common welfare of people everywhere in the world. So as much as that is realistic, the most realistic thing that needs to happen is that users need to better protect themselves and their valuable information online. Because with a lack of perception of these risks, these problems will continue to have a prominent influence in the social media atmosphere. But with users fighting to defend themselves, society will create a much safer environment online, which is only going to help the well being of people around the world. I'm Ryan Jackson. Thank you very much.